Hello stranger friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Carissa and welcome to my pregnancy journey. Okay, so first things first, if you are pregnant or you're about to become pregnant, I highly recommend journaling. I am not really a physical journal person. I have the messiest handwriting, it is actually embarrassing, but I do use my notes app. So I have like an entire pregnancy worth of notes written down. I want to share some bonus footage of telling my family, and we had a bit of a medical scare and our move and all of the behind the scenes stuff that you guys didn't end up seeing throughout my pregnancy. Let's jump into my experience. So I found out that I was pregnant on January 21st, 2021, and we had been trying for a couple of months at that point. I do plan on doing a video talking about that experience, but we'll put a pin in that for now. The day that I found out, I woke up and I had really tingly boobs. And so I decided to take a pregnancy test and I filmed that. So if you haven't seen that video and you would like to, I will link it up above in the cards. So I peed on the stick, found out I was pregnant. I immediately took that stick and sent it in the mail to my best friend to tell her, but obviously that wouldn't arrive for several days. It arrived! Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna FaceTime her and record it. My heart is just like... and I planned on telling my husband the next day.
We did it!
And I will link that up here as well as in the info box. So I found out, I told my husband, and we were absolutely elated. And for the next couple of weeks, I didn't really do anything other than book in with a local midwife. Hello, I'm checking in. Today is the 28th of January, and Glenn and I are headed to West Kelowna to my acupuncture appointment. I'm very excited because obviously this is the first time that I'm seeing my naturopath team being pregnant, and it's just something that we've been obviously working towards for like the last 6 months. So I know they'll be excited for me, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to chatting about like next steps and what to do. And I think later today I'm gonna call around and try and get myself booked with a midwife. At 5 weeks and 3 days, so on February 4th, I woke up with nausea.
I'm on day 2 of being pretty bedbound. I've just been so nauseous, it's unbearable. I've been trying to tell myself that it's a good thing. It means my hormones are being active and it probably points to a healthy baby, but oh man, it's just brutal. I didn't really realize that I was going to be so incapacitated. Like it's been really hard.
Oh man, that was the first time I didn't make it to the toilet. Now I have to clean up the bathroom. Gross.
I was nauseous every single day. From sun up to sundown, I could barely stomach crackers. I felt like an absolute shell of a human.
I really thought that I'd be one of those people that just didn't get nauseous. Joke's on me. I just feel like shit. I haven't felt like myself in weeks. Sweating.
On February 6th, we had plans to meet my parents and tell them. Hello friends, today is February the 6th and we are telling my parents that I am pregnant. I'm very excited. It's been so hard to keep this from them for the past couple of weeks. I just want my mom. So yeah, we're out at Kukuli Bay, and kind of our plan is to pretend that we're taking a photo and do like the 3, 2, 1, say Carissa's pregnant. I'm very nauseous. I've been nauseous the past week. It's just been fucking brutal. I finally got these like wristband things in. That's definitely helped today. But yeah, I've been surviving off of like yogurt and bread and crackers, and it's been death. Anyways, I'm looking forward to having my mom know so that I can text her and tell her how shitty I feel. Okay, got the shot. I'm in. Hold still, Billy.
All right, Chris is pregnant on 3. 1, 2, 3. Really? Are you? Awesome. Cool. All right. Congratulations. Thank you. Awesome.
Because you had a big part of this.
You're gonna be a grandma.
When I was 6 weeks and 6 days pregnant, it was Valentine's Day, and I get a FaceTime call from my best friend whom I sent the Pete on Pregnancy stick to, and she FaceTimes me and tells me that she is also pregnant, and we have due dates 2 weeks apart. You couldn't plan this if you tried. Another note that I have written down is acid reflux all the time. I experienced acid reflux basically throughout the entire pregnancy. Anytime that I laid down, it was just like my contents of my stomach were in my throat. I had my first midwife appointment at 8 weeks. That was Monday, the 22nd of February. It was a phone appointment because COVID. At 8 weeks and 1 day, finally asked for a prescription for the nausea because it was so relentless and I was losing weight at that point.
Last night was the first night that I tried taking the prescription nausea medicine, and they were saying the one side effect is drowsiness, and oh my god, I've been struggling to wake up for the past 2 hours. Like, it's unbelievable. I cannot, my brain is just mush.
And it doesn't completely take away the nausea. It just makes it so that like you're not puking all the time. So basically I became nauseous and insanely dopey and tired. So it was a little bit better, but it also just made me feel like the worst version of myself. I was getting to the point where I was really truly feeling as though I was situationally depressed. I was so grateful to be pregnant and so excited to be pregnant, but just so defeated with feeling like I couldn't leave bed, I couldn't live a normal life, I couldn't even exist without feeling so shitty every single day. I had my first ultrasound. It is March the 2nd, and we are on our way to my first ultrasound appointment. I'm so excited. I am panicking because I have to pee. I hate holding my pee. It is my #1 pet peeve. And they're like, you need to drink a liter of water about an hour before. I just had to Google, have people peed their pants in an ultrasound? Yes, they have, and I might be one of those people that will add my name to that list. I was exact with measurements. I'm exactly exact. 9 weeks, 1 day. Our first picture together. So obviously at that ultrasound, we received these sonogram pictures. And so since I had those, I decided that we should tell my little brother. So here's the footage from telling him the next day. Okay, close your eyes. You can't look. Keep them closed. You have to keep them closed. Okay, you can open.
Hey!
You're gonna be an uncle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, son.
I'm so excited to tell you.
I was starting to think that you couldn't have kids, for Christ's sake.
No, it's right after my birthday.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I have to drink
Congratulations,
wine. I have to drink wine for her.
Thank you, Shanipi.
Oh, right on. Gonna be an uncle. Congrats, that's fucking awesome.
Thanks. I'm 9 weeks.
Should have seen you told me today.
I know.
Why did you wait so long?
We decided to wait a couple more weeks before telling Glenn's dad and the rest of his family. My husband is Australian and all of his family is over there. So we just wanted to make sure that we were kind of past that 12-week mark. We are calling Glenn's dad and telling him, yay! It's quite late, but it's like, what, 3 p.m. in Australia?
Yeah, about that.
Maybe I will put my feet up there because it will shake.
I guess I'll call him first so he doesn't
Yeah,
get
but you gotta
sus.
record.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had a transport machine. I'll just transport this here.
I'd take you up on it.
Yeah.
You need to have room for 3 in your transport machine though.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else. Some very good news.
I feel like born.
You're gonna be a grandpa.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit.
Nancy Petra.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thanks.
This is incredible.
you. Yeah.
Oh my god.
My swimmers can swim.
Gotta go sideways so you can see my belly. the rental that we were in actually was in the process of being sold as we were leaving. And so during my super nauseous period and during like feeling like absolute hell, we had groups of people coming through our house in the middle of COVID, gawking at the house, and they didn't sell it right away. So we literally had at least 5 weeks of every like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people just like trucking through our house. And so we would either have to be out on the balcony or like out of the house during the showings. It was honestly such a shit show. And like at the best of times, that's terrible, let alone during a pandemic when you're like, don't touch anything in my house, while pregnant, being hyper vigilant and being super nauseous. Like it was a 0 out of 10 experience.
Today is my first in-person midwife appointment. I am seeing Vanessa at Malachite, and this is their sweet little building. Let's go in.
The first pulse I'll hear is yours. It'll be a bit slower.
I officially started speaking to my healthcare providers about prenatal depression. I was, again, so deep in a hole, and I just felt as though nothing that I was doing, the medication, any type of like affirmations, meditations, nothing was making a difference in me feeling better. I have it written down here. I've never felt like less of myself. I'm so excited and grateful for this baby, but I really miss feeling normal. I'm crying all the time and I feel very down. I haven't cooked my own meals in a month and a half. I miss eating normal food. I'm getting headaches. I'm so fatigued and I feel like a slug. My face is always inflamed and acne everywhere, and I miss being a good wife to Glenn, and I feel like I'm a burden all the time. Going back to that feeling, like that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I was a massive burden to my husband, to my family. I couldn't do anything fun. I felt like I wasn't participating in anything. I couldn't participate in even cleaning my own house. It was just a really, really tough go for that time. And so, yeah, I'm glad that I wrote down exactly how I felt, because going back, it's like, fuck, that was a really, really difficult period of this pregnancy. I did my routine pregnancy blood work. Hello, I'm just trying to scarf down a banana before I go and get my blood test done. I'm feeling really gross because I ran out of my nausea medication just before the weekend, and then the pharmacy was closed all weekend. So yeah, I'm really tired and really pukey. And that came back delightfully normal, as the text said. And then at 17 weeks, 2 days, I felt the baby kick for the first time definitively. Prior to that, I had definitely felt like what I thought were like little, like almost gas bubbles in my stomach. And if I was really, really still when I laid down, like first thing at night, I kind of felt that feeling, but I wasn't sure if it was gas or the baby. And so on 17 weeks, 2 days, that was the first time that I was like, oh no, like that is most definitely the baby kicking me. So that was a very exciting moment. Around the middle of April, I started getting some random cervical pain here and there when I sat down, or like when I would stretch my legs open to like get in the car. It wasn't like awful, but I definitely felt like, whoa, things are shifting and changing down there. Around that time, I started getting finally a little bit less nauseous. I still had my triggers, like when I brushed my teeth, or if things were like really bad smelling, those things still made me really quite nauseous, but like I wasn't experiencing straight all day, every day nausea with every single thing that I did. So that was very exciting and a huge turning point in my pregnancy. On May the 6th, I had written down that I had really restless legs last night. Baby did a somersault in the morning. It felt so weird. I could feel it fully roll in my stomach. On the 7th, I felt carpal tunnel syndrome in my hand, which I didn't realize was actually a really common pregnancy thing to get carpal tunnel. I experienced that a couple of times throughout pregnancy, but that was the first time. The middle of May, so 19 weeks, 5 days, Glenn felt the baby kick for the first time. That was very exciting because obviously you try and catch it for so long before you actually have it happen and have your partner feel it. Like, I remember yelling across the house, like, quick, 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 like, it's happening. And then he'd come and put his hand on my stomach and it wouldn't be doing that still. And so it was really cool to finally get a moment where it was like, oh my God, do you feel that too? Also, in the middle of May, I had a private ultrasound booked. So with the private clinic, my mom was able to come with us. And that was a really, really nice moment, getting to share that with my mom.
Wow.
Am I crying? Maybe. Just a little. Just a lone tear. We had our 20-week ultrasound booked with the hospital, and obviously like that's your medical scan. They make sure the baby's growing okay and that everything's all good. We are on our way in for my 20-week scan. I made it. I'm smiling under here, can you tell?
Yes. Your eyes are smiling.
So I went in, I did like the majority of the scan. Glenn came in, he got to experience like a little bit at the end. It's just so weird going through this experience during a pandemic when your partner can't really be included in anything. So we included him anyways. The plan was that I was going to do that scan, get the pictures, and then we were going to announce to you guys. And so we were basically getting ready to announce, and the day that we planned on announcing, I was 20 weeks and 2 days pregnant. And at like 10 o'clock in the morning, I received a phone call, and it was from my midwife. We were not expecting that call, and so my body kind of froze. I picked up the phone and I put it on speakerphone. Basically, what had happened was something came up on the ultrasound, and it was an abnormal finding. And our midwife didn't have a whole lot more information other than just the basic, like, this is what's happened and we would like to get further imaging. And they said, we'd like to refer you to specialists down at Vancouver BC Women's Hospital. Out of respect for our baby, I don't want to share what that medical condition was because it's not mine to share, and baby might not want that public. So whenever I speak about it in previous clips, I'm just gonna bleep it out. Today was supposed to be an exciting day where we announced our pregnancy, and we're still going to announce today, but a lot has happened and I just feel like really overwhelmed. So we got a call from our midwife talking about our 20-week scan. They did find it's not like impeding any of like the baby's functions, like all the fluids are normal, everything seems totally normal, it's just showing up on the scan. So not really great news in that sense, but like obviously it could be so much worse. I'm trying my best to not stress about it because there really is no point in stressing. There's literally nothing that I can do except wait. Basically they're referring us, it's a lot before 10:30 in the morning. So I wanted to jump on and just kind of document this because this is what happened the day that we announced that we were pregnant. After getting that news, we waited to get a confirmation of our booking with BC Women's. Hello, good morning. So I didn't update you at all on our situation. Last week after I spoke to you, the next day we received an email from our midwife, and she let us know that Vancouver Women's Hospital had an opening the following Tuesday. So like 5 days from that date, and they asked if we wanted to take that slot for a ultrasound. So we said yes, we dropped everything and we made that happen. So this has been our first trip to Vancouver pretty much in a year. Obviously due to the pandemic, there is crazy travel restrictions and you're not supposed to leave your area unless it's like an essential travel thing. This being essential travel, we're fine, but it was really weird booking a hotel, and like the city's really quiet and it's super eerie and a lot of things are boarded up and closed down, and yeah, it's been a really weird experience. So anyway, it is 7:20 in the morning. We have an appointment at 7:45 for an ultrasound. And then we have a couple of specialist appointments throughout the day to kind of go over the findings. Really try to keep spirits up. Fingers crossed everything's gonna be good. Custard. You looked really funny like that. Kind of like a frog.
A frog?
Yes.
I don't want to look like a frog.
You're just a little cute frog. Okay, we'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Every time I've had to do an ultrasound, I have fucked up on when to drink water, because like the first time I drank so much. If you guys remember from the video, I drank so much and I had to pee so badly that I almost peed my pants. Like I was so uncomfortable. It was absolutely nuts. And then the last time I kind of timed it like relatively okay. And then this time I feel like all the water is like sitting in my belly, sloshing, and like I have like just nervous belly and no pee. And I'm like, shit. Hello everyone, I'm doing my afternoon update. It is 2:42 and we just got ice cream because we got some great news back. So we did our first scan and we saw an ultrasound tech and then we saw an ultrasound specialist doctor. She basically just said, you know, this is something that could completely resolve by itself once baby's born. So I think you guys will be good to go. She's like, you'll meet with the what was she called? Like the high-risk pregnancy specialist in the afternoon. And so then later on in the afternoon, we met with her and she was absolutely lovely. She straight up said, this will probably be my best case scenario today and you guys should walk away with a smile. We were really, really, really excited to hear that. So, yeah, it's a good day. Very good news. We are having our ice cream to celebrate.
Birthday cake.
Birthday cake and
Do you want any more of this?
no, he ordered birthday cake and then he was surprised that it tasted like birthday cake. And I'm like,
Why did you think about the word cake? I'm like, birthday
it
cake
literally
flavor.
has chunks of cake in it. And I'm
Of
like,
course it does.
well, it's an artisan ice cream
Silly
place. Of
me.
course it does.
Whatever.
But yeah, so anyway, very good news. It's sunny in Vancouver. I just feel like everything's turning up Millhouse. Okay, that is our update. I will have to do a further follow-up ultrasound later on in my pregnancy just to make sure that nothing has changed. Again, they don't expect it to, but yeah, into my 30-something week, they will get me back in Kelowna and then they'll just send the scans back down to Vancouver, and so we won't probably have to come back to Vancouver for any scans. They can just kind of do it in Kelowna and then refer the scans through. So yeah, best case scenario, very, very grateful, and yeah, today's a good day. While we were in Vancouver speaking to the specialist, I also really wanted to have a conversation about getting vaccinated for COVID. Obviously, this is a very polarizing subject, and at that point, I was leaning towards not getting vaccinated until I had had the baby, and then get vaccinated and then pass on the antibodies through breastfeeding. But my fear was that since having an explant and having so many things go on with my chest surgeries, that maybe I wouldn't be able to breastfeed, and then I wouldn't be able to give my baby the antibodies that I was hoping to give them. And so I brought that up with the specialists and they said, regardless of that, here's information on why you should consider getting vaccinated. And they said, obviously it's your choice, but given statistically what is happening to pregnant women that get COVID, is that something that you want to risk? From our medical perspective, this is something that we absolutely would recommend you do. And so I decided to make an appointment, and I made an appointment for the same week to get vaccinated, and I feel very confident with that decision.
All right. I did it.
She did it. We did it.
We did it. For you.
The next day, I felt totally fine. I just had a bit of a sore arm, and then the following day, I didn't even notice anything different. On June 1st, we moved into our new home. And we were so excited for this to finally be happening. I did a moving vlog. I'll again link that if you're interested. It was 32 degrees until about 6 p.m. At the end of June, I had another midwife checkup. The baby kept kicking at the Doppler when we were trying to hear their heartbeat. The baby was rolling and moving and kicking so much more often and started reacting to different things and different stimulus outside. So when Lola would bark when somebody knocked on the door, the baby would move. Or if I were to push on my stomach, the baby would move. I just thought that that was so cool that this is a little human in there. It's somebody that is starting to interact with the world around them, and what a mind-blowing thing. It's just so cool to experience. Something I have written down is that my eyesight started getting a little bit blurry. I hope that goes back to normal after birth. I, around that time, found our doula, Krista Evans. She is phenomenal. We wanted to explore the idea of having a mural painted in nursery. We started putting out our feelers to try and find a local artist, and then I realized oh my God, I already know somebody. Glenn did some art lessons with this artist the year prior, and she is so lovely. And so I reached out asking if she'd be interested in our concept, and she was. I have written down here July 2nd, 26 weeks, 4 days pregnant. I have had an itchy vagina for months. It's driving me fucking nuts. Midwife swabbed for yeast infection or other things. Nothing came back. Told me it's likely just hormonal and will eventually stop, but I'm in discomfort daily. First of all, it was just one flap of my labia, a single flap, and my God, was that the most awful, itchy, frustrating thing. Nothing helped. Like changing underwear, changing the laundry powder, like doing creams, doing like Epsom salt sits, like nothing helped. Nothing helped. I had an itchy flap for freaking months. On July the 7th, I noticed my baby's hiccups on the outside for the first time. I had previously felt them on the inside, but I hadn't seen like my stomach do like a little movement. It was pretty exciting. At 29 weeks, 5 days, I have written down that I sat up to text my mom. I was surprised at a drop of wetness on my leg. I realized I dropped a drop of colostrum out of my boobs onto my bare leg, and I was just like, what the hell? And I looked up thinking like the ceiling was dripping, and then I realized it's my boob. That was a really weird feeling.
To landmark on a baby, I want to be a finger width below the nipple line.
At 31 weeks, 3 days, baby was moving a lot, flipping all the time, moving around. I said, it feels like time is flying. I am starting some birth classes, hoping to prepare for October. My friend Rachel was having her baby any day, so I was excited for her. The wildfires around our area have been raging, and almost 400 fires were active at that time, and it was just nuts. Like, the closest fire was basically across the lake from us, and it was burning out of control. There was so much smoke, it was just thick outside. I didn't go outside for like almost a month straight because the air quality was so poor. Yeah, I just have it written down like we've been worried. It hasn't rained in over 50 days. We have our go bags packed. And so like we had a couple of tubs pretty much in the garage, at the front of the garage, with all of like our keepsakes, our memory books, our hard drives, like everything that was important was in those tubs. So in case we had to evacuate, we could just grab it and go. I miss going for walks, and I feel like I haven't kept up with my fitness at all this pregnancy.
Hello, sweet baby. You're currently in my belly, and we are fully vaccinated. Say hi to Dad.
Hi.
We love you.
You do.
Whole bunches. I don't want you to live in a pandemic world, so, you know.
On Harry Potter's birthday, aka July 31st, my best friend who's pregnant and I had our combined baby shower. In August, the baby felt like they were diagonal. And then when I went to my midwife appointment, I realized baby's actually head down and the butt's up here and the legs are over here. Like, I thought this was the length of the baby. Oh no, no, no. Like the head was way down in my pelvis already, and like the butt and the legs were over the side. I could not believe it. It was just like, really? So that was really strange, but it was great to know that baby was already like head down, and yeah, it was just wild thinking like there is someone inside of me that is already that big. I have written down, we purchased your crib and mattress and a few other baby things today. Damn, babies are expensive, and that is the truth. Find as many things as you can on Marketplace. Like, my God, it will save you. There are so many people selling baby things on Marketplace. It is really worth taking a look. On August 10th, I was 32 weeks, 1 day pregnant, and we had another follow-up ultrasound for the medical issue with baby. This time, luckily, it was local again in Kelowna. Baby was measuring average, everything else was totally fine, and we just had to wait to kind of hear back again with what was happening with the medical issue, if it had changed, if it was different. On August 20th, we finally heard back from BC Women's about that scan, and basically they said that the medical issue stayed the same, but then there was a second thing that came up on the imaging, but they didn't want to do further imaging because they felt as though they would get a clearer picture once baby was out, and then we did the ultrasound. And it was kind of like, well, we're really glad that they don't think that it's that emergent that like, oh my gosh, stop everything, go and get a picture. But it was kind of like, we don't mind driving to Vancouver again to get a clearer ultrasound if this is something that will prepare us for, you know, whatever we have to deal with once baby's born. And so, yeah, they were basically saying like, it's non-emergent, but like you will have to follow up with a pediatrician and like, we'll stay on your case. And so it was kind of like, we didn't feel like we got anywhere with it. So anyway, that was that call. I found a new chiropractor and massage team at 33 weeks. I started going to AltaV downtown in Kelowna. They are incredible. If you are local to Kelowna or anywhere in the area, check them out. I will link them down below. Their team is so lovely. They are worth your time. I started getting Braxton Hicks all the time at this point. It was very weird feeling those because like it most definitely is like your stomach just tightens up and it's like, oh, that's a strange feeling. I have written down, your nursery mural is complete. It's incredibly awesome. I'm gonna stick some footage in right now of the artist completing the mural. She took 3 days to do it. The first day she kind of mapped it out and put it up on the wall just in a sketch. The second day she did like the bulk of the painting and all of like the color blocking. And then the third day she did all of the detail work. She is so incredible. I'm gonna link her down below if you want to check out her art. At our midwife appointment at 34 weeks pregnant, we received the very confusing and frustrating news that we might not be able to do a home birth. And the reason why I say it was confusing and frustrating was because our team of specialists was saying that our case was non-emergent and it shouldn't be a problem and it shouldn't affect doing a home birth. Yet at the same time, we were being told that the baby was going to have to be seen within the first 24 hours of life. And they weren't exactly sure if we were then going to get admitted to the hospital, like have a home birth and then get admitted to the hospital and have the baby checked, or if they just wanted us to have a hospital birth and just immediately see the pediatrician. They didn't really make up their minds of what they wanted, and they weren't really communicating it well with us. So we pretty much just had to wait to hear back from the local pediatrician and the local team to see what they said. And so, yeah, we just felt really up in the air with it, and I was quite emotional about it because I obviously want to do the right thing by my baby, and I have a team that is here supporting me to do that. So unless you can give me a really damn good reason of that shouldn't happen, like what is the problem? So anyway, that was frustrating. On August 31st, my dad's 60th birthday, we celebrated with my family and we built the baby's crib. We ended up getting a baby Leto Hudson crib, I think is what it's called. And it was really easy to build, but the stickers, oh my God, you should be sued to have stickers of that caliber on a product like that. It took longer to take the stickers off the product than it did to build the product. I tried everything. I tried the peanut butter trick. I tried rubbing alcohol. I tried scraping it with a razor. I tried heating it. Nothing worked. It took hours. At 36 weeks, one day, I got my Tdap shot. Probably could have gotten that a little bit earlier, but I wanted to space that out from my COVID shot. I had absolutely no effect from that. It was wild. Like the next day, my arm wasn't even sore. At 36 weeks, 4 days, I had another midwife appointment. They still didn't have an answer on whether or not I was able to do the home birth. And by that point, I was definitely starting to freak out. Pretty much like 37 weeks onwards, you are pretty much full term, so baby could come at any point. And so feeling like we didn't have an answer or a plan felt really stressful to me. I was trying to go with the flow and just be easygoing about it because at the end of the day, what will be, will be. But it still really sucked feeling as though I wasn't able to proceed with any type of a plan. At that midwife appointment, I was swabbed for strep B. I had to swab my butthole. I talked about it on Instagram, and apparently in other places, you don't have to swab your butthole, but here you have to swab your butthole. So that was an interesting experience. I came back negative for strep B, so that wasn't a problem. After that appointment, a couple of hours later, I was in Walmart and I got a call from the midwife, and she told me that we had the go ahead from the local pediatrician and the team to do the home birth. And I immediately started crying in Walmart. I was so joyful and excited, and I just felt like I can finally just relax and have that final piece of like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're having the baby at home. This is how I'm going to plan for this. And I just felt such relief having an answer finally. So that brings me to 37 weeks pregnant. And that's actually where I'm going to end today's video, because you'll be getting 3 separate vlogs of the last month of my pregnancy. I share everything that I was doing to prepare, everything that I was doing to ripen my cervix and open my body up and get ready for my impending birth. I'm very excited for you guys to see this content, and I'm even more excited for you guys to see my home birth. It was the most magical, empowering experience. Okay, hold up. I realized that I did not do like a TLDR, last minute thoughts, and like overall how I felt about this pregnancy. So I thought I would add this in here after the fact. As you saw, the first 20 weeks or so of my pregnancy, the first half, was really freaking hard. And I don't think that I was mentally prepared for that whatsoever. I thought that I would be just a little bit nauseous and then like sail right through. And that just was not my experience. When you are in the throes of nausea and mentally you're just stuck in that loop, it is so debilitating. And I feel for anyone that deals with HG throughout their entire pregnancy, because that shit is fucked. I really did not enjoy the first half of pregnancy, and I think that especially with it being my first pregnancy, you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. It just feels like, oh my god, like I'm going to feel like this forever, and you don't really get the end game until you're looking back on it all. But yeah, so the first half really sucked, and the second half was a breeze, which I know is probably not the case for everybody, but I really had a great second half of pregnancy. I didn't really have any major aches and pains. I had, obviously, my body getting bigger and slower. Definitely the last couple of weeks, I was moving a lot more mindfully and not getting out of bed, like hiking myself up. I would always roll over onto my side and then like gently push myself up. Body-wise, I felt surprisingly really confident in my pregnancy body. Not really something that I expected, because you never really know how you're going to react to your body changing so much. But I just felt really appreciative and yeah, just humbled by the fact that my body was able to do what it was doing. And so what if it got a little jigglier or bigger? It was a really interesting experience. And I think that, like with anything, if you meet yourself with curiosity rather than with resistance, you'll have a much better experience in whatever you're experiencing. And that's just what I tried to keep at the forefront of my mind. Like if there was any point in time where I was like, oh, like I don't really feel confident about this, it would be like just asking myself, why? Is that because I had an expectation of how I thought it would be? Or, you know, I hope that makes sense. What else? I had really bad acid reflux the last half of my pregnancy. It felt like by the last couple of weeks, I had to eat such teensy little meals just so that like my food wasn't in my throat at all times. It felt like fire lava coming up, and like sometimes you'd burp and like you were scared to burp because you weren't sure if it was going to come up as like fiery puke or if it was going to stay down. But yeah, like that was probably the only uncomfortable part of the latter half of pregnancy for me. What else did I kind of feel? I didn't really get swollen. I didn't have to take off my wedding rings or anything like that, and my shoes fit me the entire time. Yeah, I didn't really have any food cravings. I had a ton of food aversions, obviously a lot of them throughout the first half of pregnancy. And some of them kind of lingered on throughout the pregnancy, but it was more so of like, I don't know, just certain textures. As always, I'm a texture person, and certain textures just didn't really sit with me, and certain meals just, I don't know, I'd start eating them and be like, nah, this isn't for me. I just got to go for something more plain tasting. That was something that I found really different about the pregnancy experience, was that I had always planned on just buckling down with my nutrition and eating habits, building the strongest foundation for my baby. And I literally ate crackers for like 15 weeks straight. Like this child is built on crackers, the odd carrot stick, and a shitload of digestive cookies. Like, was that the plan? No, it wasn't. Sorry, my phone's on. That was my mom. Mom, go away. Yeah, I always thought that I would be much more mindful with my eating during pregnancy, and it ended up being way more of a holy shit, I need to eat something to survive, and what is going to stay in my stomach, rather than like, how can I nutritionally help my child? I wanted it to be that, and it wasn't at all. And so that was a shock for me, because my whole life I had thought about, okay, like how can I, have my pregnancy and eat really well and be super mindful and exercise lots, and it didn't happen for me. The last thing that I probably would like to bring up is libido. As we've talked about it before, I have generally a pretty low libido, and that didn't really change during pregnancy. A lot of people had kind of said like, oh, like you'll get really horny in your second trimester and this and that, and like Glenn was waiting, but didn't really happen, unfortunately. Like I said, I felt really confident with my body. I just didn't really feel like I was in the mood, sex was great while pregnant. I mean, sex is always great, but it just wasn't something that I was like craving or seeking. And yeah, I just feel like nothing really changed from my normal patterns while I was pregnant. So yeah, I mean, maybe other people have different experiences, but the one thing that I did notice, and I was talking to my friend the other day about this, my orgasms felt different while pregnant. It just, the orgasm itself just felt vastly different. And I'm looking forward to that to go back to normal. But yeah, maybe that's TMI. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It just kind of felt like they weren't as strong, and they weren't as like, I don't even know how to explain it. They just weren't the same. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is too much for the internet. I don't know. But yeah, that is my TLDR recap of my feelings of my pregnancy. Would I do it again? 100%. Now that I know what the end is like, it's just like, this is so worth it. It is, what a journey. What a freaking journey. I feel very grateful to have experienced this, and humbled that I was able to carry my own child into this world. And wow, man, wow, bodies are incredible. Okay, let's get back to the video. Come on. Please don't forget to leave me a comment. I love reading them. I would love to hear about your pregnancy and your experience, and tell me about motherhood. What have you enjoyed? What have you found hard? What are things that are pieces of advice for me? Leave it all in the comments down below. Thank you again. I will talk to you guys very soon, and oh my gosh, I'm a mom.